Boom! Nikola Tesla, master of resonance. It was an innocent experiment. Tesla had attached a small vibrator to an iron column in his New York City laboratory and started it vibrating. At certain frequencies, specific pieces of equipment in the room would jiggle. It was an innocent experiment. Tesla had attached a small vibrator to an iron column in his New York City laboratory and started it vibrating. At certain frequencies, specific pieces of equipment in the room would jiggle. Change the frequency and the jiggle would move to another part of the room. Unfortunately, he hadn't accounted for the fact that the column ran down into the foundation beneath the building. His vibrations were being transmitted all over Manhattan. For Tesla, the first hint of trouble came when the walls and floors began to heave. He stopped the experiment just as the police crashed through the door. It seems he started a small earthquake in his neighborhood, smashing windows, swayed buildings, and sending panicked neighbors rushing into the streets. The police had frequently responded to complaints about Tesla's unusual activities. Although Tesla was not the first to discover resonance, he was obsessed with it and created some of the most incredible demonstrations of it ever seen. He studied both mechanical and electrical versions. In the process, he created an artificial earthquake, numerous artificial lightning storms, knocked an entire power plant offline in Colorado, and nearly caused the steel frame of a skyscraper under construction in Manhattan to collapse. Tesla realized that the principles of resonance could be used to transmit and receive radio messages well before Marconi. In fact, many knowledgeable sources now credit Tesla as the inventor of the radio rather than Marconi. This includes the Supreme Court, which in 1943 ruled that Tesla's radio patents had preceded all others, including Marconi's. Tesla was one-of-a-kind neurotic genius who had a profound influence on our technology and culture. He was obsessed with germs and the number 3. Yet his inventions almost single-handedly enabled the creation of our modern AC power distribution system. He was a contemporary of Edison and for a time worked for the famous inventor. Unlike Edison, who Tesla considered something of a bumpkin, Tesla used theory and calculations as well as experimentation to conduct his research, and was the more modern of the two in his approach. He was also far more interested in pursuing his inventions for their own sake than becoming rich and famous. Unfortunately, Tesla's obsession with pursuing grand ideas and projects proved to be his undoing. He became convinced that energy could be transmitted through the air without wires and spent a small fortune on a demonstration project. He built a giant Tesla coil in Colorado Springs, which used electrical resonance to build up incredibly high voltages and caused fantastic lightning shows. Unfortunately, his dream of transmitting wireless power was never commercialized, and partly because of it, Tesla ended dying a poor man. The mad scientist stereotype came from Tesla. Tesla's Manhattan lab was a mysterious place with buzzing electric arcs, eerie lightning, and inspired in science scenes in 1930s horror movies, such as Frankenstein with Boris Karloff, Monster Life. Although Tesla never attempted to create life, he did create the first radio-controlled robotic vehicles and claimed that one day robots would free humans of drudgery work. He also claimed to have invented a powerful death beam. For entertainment, Tesla once convinced his good friend Mark Twain to test out a vibrating platform in his Manhattan lab. Twain took him up on the offer and found it to his liking. When Tesla commanded Twain to come down off the platform, Twain refused because he was having a good time. A few minutes later, Twain ran from the device. It seemed that Tesla had deliberately neglected to tell Twain that the vibration tended to cause diarrhea. Had Tesla been less eccentric and more interested in the personal fortune, he would have avoided the grandiose projects which were his undoing. If he had simply avoided making outrageous statements, he would have had more scientific credibility and easily overshadowed Edison. Today, Tesla would be far more famous, and the subject of resonance would probably receive far more attention in scientific textbooks. Resonance was certainly one of Tesla's greatest passions, and like Tesla, seems almost too mysterious to be real. Although Tesla had not received the acclaim he deserves, he has nonetheless become a cult hero. For more information, go to the Tesla Society. Now I'm going to present the first part of the history of Thoth the Atlantean, Tablet 1 from the Emerald Tablets. Do not go away, okay? Do not turn your eyes away from what I'm about to tell you, because this is going to lead you to the truth. This is going to lead you to the what's going on, folks. Because I'm gonna tie it with the Anu creation story. I'm gonna tie it with the Book of Revelations, with the Genesis story of the Bible. It's gonna blow your frickin' mind. This be true, folks. Okay, first I'm gonna start with what the Emerald Tablets were and what the tablets were made of. Okay. Now a word as to the material aspect of the tablets. They consist of 12 tablets, hear that, 12 tablets of emerald green, formed from a substance created through alchemical transmutation. Alchemical transmutation. You hear that now? They are imperishable, resistant to all elements and substance. That is our thought, our consciousness, folks. In effect, the atomic and cellular structure is fixed, no change ever taking place. In this respect, they violate the material law of ionization. Upon them are engraved characters in the ancient Atlantean language, characters which respond to attuned thought waves, releasing the associated mental vibration in the mind of the reader. The tablets are fastened together with hoops of golden colored alloy suspended from a rod of the same material. Do you realize this, guys? This is the DNA helix, guys. This is us. We are the rod. Do you hear me? I'm sorry. So much for the material appearance. The wisdom contained therein is the foundation of the ancient mysteries. And for the one who reads with open eyes and mind, his wisdom shall be increased 100-fold. Read, believe it or not, but read. The vibration found therein will awaken a response in your soul. I, Thoth the Atlantean, master of mysteries, keeper of records, mighty king, magician, living from generation to generation, being about to pass into the halls of Amenti, set down for the guidance of those that are to come after. These records are of the mighty wisdom of great Atlantis. In the great city of Kior, on the island of Undal, in a time far past, I began this incarnation. Not as the little men of the present age did the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from aeon to aeon did they renew their life in the halls of Amenti, where the river of life flows eternally onward. 100 times 10 have I descended the dark way that led into light. And as many times have I ascended from the darkness into light, my strength and power renewed. That's key. Pay attention. Now for a time I descend, and the men of Ken shall know me no more. But in a time yet unborn will I rise again, mighty and potent, requiring an accounting of those left behind me. Then beware, O men of Kem, if ye have falsely betrayed my teaching, for I shall cast ye down from the high estate into the darkness of the caves from whence ye came. Betray not my secrets to the men of the north or the men of the south, lest my curse fall upon ye. Remember and heed my words, for surely will I return again and require of thee that which ye guard. Aye, even from beyond time and from beyond death will I return, rewarding or punishing as ye have requited your trust. Great were my people in the ancient days, great beyond the conception of the little people around me now. Knowing wisdom of old, seeking far within the heart of infinity, knowledge that belonged to earth's youth. Wise were we with the wisdom of the children of light, who dwelt amongst us. Strong were we with the power drawn from the eternal fire. And of all these, greatest among them were the children of men, was my father, thought me, keeper of the great temple, link between the children of light who dwelt within the temple and the races of men who inhabited the 10 islands. Mouthpiece after thee, the 3 of the dweller of Unual, speaking to the kings with the voice that must be obeyed. Now I'm skipping ahead here to down through the ages I live, seeing those around me taste of the cup of death, and return again in light of life. Gradually from the kingdoms of Atlantis past the waves of consciousness that had been one with me, only to be replaced by the spawn of a lower star. In obedience to the law, the word of the master grew into a flower. Downward into darkness turned the thoughts of the Atlanteans, until at last, in his wrath, arose from his aguante. Here is a word from which we have no English equivalent. It means a state of detachment. The dweller in his aguante, the dweller speaking the word, calling the power deep in earth's heart. The sons of Amenti heard, and hearing directed the changing of the flower of fire that burns eternally, changing and shifting, using the logos, until that great fire changed its direction. You see, people? We have created so much clamor on this planet by our industrial vibration, by our cars going down the freeway, by killing the bugs, by killing the frogs, by killing the creatures in the ocean. We have created this. And I suspect the chemtrails are an attempt to block the electrical energy from the source brain, from the cosmic brain. Remember the stories that came out about the brain? That the cosmos is a big brain. We are but cells in that brain, folks. Goosebumps, our aura, are just feedback. The biofeedback of the planet. We are the synapses, the firings of the earth. And in the big scheme, in the macro, the earth is just a cell in the solar synapses firings. Part 2 will be coming soon. Thank you. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Love, peace, chicken grease. Thank you, Jerry Runk. I love you, brother. I love you, Jerry. Thank you, Danny D. I love you. Michelle Can-Am Free. I love you. Brian, Milky Way Weekly. I love you. Suji, Brandy. Every one of you fine souls. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.